Emerging from the rubble of Friday's jet crash are incredible stories of survival. The F-18 Hornet crashed in the center of the Mayfair Mews apartment complex off of Birdneck Road in Virginia Beach Friday. It happened just after noon, and while some ran from the fire, others ran toward it. And tonight, one of those people told his story to 10 on Your Side's Ann McNamara, and he told you how he pulled one of the pilots to safety.
He did, Katie, and we've heard so many stories since we've been here from residents from the Mayfair Mews apartment complex saying, oh, well, typically I would have been cooking lunch in my apartment. Typically I would have been in bed at that time. Well, typically Nick Bean would never be here. In fact, Friday was the first day he ever stepped foot in the Mayfair Mews apartment complex. He said he was ready to catch lunch and meet up with an old friend.
I said, hey, let's get together, let's go to lunch. He said, okay, come pick me up. My roommates are here, we'll all go to lunch. And 5 minutes later, Virginia Beach changed.
Nick Bean heard the noise, the unmistakable noise. He was standing in the courtyard in the next building over. His first instinct to run toward the fire.
The first corner I turned was the picture everybody keeps seeing of the two engines, so I figured that was a bad idea and didn't go that way.
As he ran, he knocked on doors, even kicked one in, only to find the wall of the apartment caving. He turned a second corner, and there he found one of the pilots lying on the ground, his parachute still attached to him and tangled on a building.
I grabbed him and said, you know, hey, Lieutenant, you know, that's when he kind of opened his eyes and the whole shock of, hey, what's going on? Like, he really came to, and you could tell he was in shock.
Bean and a few others dragged the pilot to safety, first behind a car and then behind a dumpster for shelter.
We gave him the water, and he poured the water over his head, and that's when all the blood cleared off, and you could see the lacerations on his face, and the knot on his head was getting bigger.
By now you've probably heard the pilot uttered an apology.
Then he looked up and he said, there's my wingman, and it kind of struck me that his wingman circled for a good, that I can remember, 15 minutes, circled the crash site.
As for Nick Bean, he says his training with the Coast Guard made him act on instinct. He credits the citizens who stepped up to help as the real heroes.
I'm not trying to downplay this. I don't think I did anything. I helped somebody that needed help, and that's all I set out to do.
Nonetheless, many do consider him a hero here in this community. Now, also Nick Bean told me this is maybe one of the dumbest things I've ever done, running toward the fire, but he also told me he'd do it again if he had the chance. Meanwhile, the residents in the Mayfair Mews apartment complex are actually retrieving some of their stuff today. They were able to see their vehicles. They were towed from here all the way to the Virginia Beach Convention Center. That's where they can pick them up. They're going to need photo identification. The lot will open tomorrow at 7 o'clock. State police will be on hand. There will also be a mobile DMV on hand to help those who've lost their licenses. And as you can see, some people a little anxious, as you can expect, and they picked their car up today. Also tomorrow, the Navy will put money into the people's personal bank accounts. That money is that immediate compensation that was promised by the Navy. Live in Virginia Beach, I'm Ann McNamara, 10 on Your Side.
And the Navy says normal operations will resume at NAS Oceana tomorrow morning.